how the weather is when I land plays a big role into how the trip's going to be. Then I got this wonderful welcome crew at the arrivals, and I knew I'd have a brilliant trip. I'm Paul Fournier. I used to be very stubborn, like I want to wear a three-piece suit. I want to wear a tie. No one wears a tie in the office. I don't care. I will be wearing it. And then you realize sometimes that it can be okay, sometimes it can be out of place. So if you ask me to summarize my style, I would say classic tailoring, and for the rest I would say casual chic, but very, very French. Craftsmanship is very important to me because on the one hand it's tradition, and I really love something that is well made and by hand, and I think it speaks a lot when its business has been transmitted from a generation to the other, sometimes over many generations, and I have a lot of respect for that. And I think some of the clothes I really prefer to wear when I look at my wardrobe are the ones that are better made. Style plays a huge influence, obviously. Does it fit right? Does it look great? But sometimes the little thing that comes on top is really, if it's really well made, there's an additional pleasure to it. And if it's really, really well made, and we're talking about tailoring jacket, then you forget that you're even wearing a jacket, which is quite a luxury in itself. I always start with the one piece of clothing I've missed the most. And it can be anything. It can be a pair of shoes, can be a shirt, can be a pair of trousers, can be a jacket. And I will always browse through and say, oh, that's this one. It's been a while. Would love to wear that. And then I build the outfit from that piece up or down. It's actually a great pleasure to be able to travel to Oslo and actually see the store in real life. Very impressed. It's actually a really, really big store. Very well thought through, good selections, very beautiful materials, nice colors, and there's a spirit to the store. See what I mean? Like there's an atmosphere and it feels cozy. The street is beautiful, but it's also kind of a business district or like an official district. But you enter into the store and then you find this kind of warm atmosphere and this beautiful piece of clothing that you just want to sit down on the couch and get a whiskey and start drinking. So I think it's a pretty good first impression. The Cavour jackets, I must admit, first I was actually quite reluctant to try because I thought they looked great. But as I've told you in the past, ready-to-wear was never really a thing for me, except at Tolini, which is unfortunately an expensive taste to have. And never the good sizing for me, either too long or then too tight or something didn't work. And then I really wanted to try because I saw that the fabrics were really nice and the style looked simple enough, like boiled to the essence of what a jacket should be. No fluffs, well done, well cut, and good fabric. So then I gave it a try, and I think my first jacket was actually a tweed jacket. And it turned out really well. I put it on and there were super minor alterations to do, like very minor. And that was very rare for me. So I was actually very surprised. The second thing that's obviously struck was it was quite a lightweight construction. I expected something way heavier. So, usually in tailoring, you think the more up north you are, the heavier the jacket. You start from London and then you go down to southern Italy, and that's basically tells you everything into and about the construction. So not constructed in southern Italy, very high, stiff construction in London. And I was like, oh, no way. So armor, and actually it came out as a garment that was actually quite lightweight, pretty much a second skin. So very, very nice and pleasant fit in the jacket, and that for me is paramount. I don't want to be wondering about what I'm wearing. I want to just be happy that I have a jacket on, but I don't want to think about it or wear it or feel it. Something very simple is actually super elegant. And look at the Italians industrialists. We haven't touched the topic of the style icons or things like that. It's a pretty touched topic. But anyway, most of the Italian industrialists is that beautiful fabric, perfect cut, and simple colors. Look at Luca from Ferrari. What does he have? Blue suits, white shirt, blue suits, white shirt. But amazing cut. Coming to Oslo was quite nostalgic because I mentioned my grandfather earlier. He actually offered me a trip when I also came of age. So basically telling me that the country was beautiful and had many things to offer. A lot of good experiences that he himself experienced as a youth, and told me very early on, I think I was even in my young teenage years, he told me, you know what, when you turn that age, you will go to Oslo. That's on me. You will have a blast, believe me. So I'm actually quite happy to be here because it's not a region I come back to a lot. And Instagram, how I came to the platform was simple. I was at PT 1 year, I think 2014, 2015. And back in those days, I still had a Tumblr, and I thought Tumblr was great imagery. You know, the Armory had played a huge role in the menswear renaissance, and all of these beautiful visuals of like Ethan Newton and Alan Say, for instance. And then someone asked me, "Oh, did you have an Instagram?" I was like, "No, I don't. I have a Tumblr." I was like, "But Tumblr, no one watches that thing anymore, so you should have an Instagram." And in those years, I was still quite influenceable, and then I thought, okay, great, I should launch an Instagram, and that's how I created an Instagram account right after PT. I was not there doing advertising for any brands. I was not taking advertising money from brands at all. I was just someone that had a tailoring journey, and I wanted to share it. And as I made a lot of mistakes, expensive mistakes, if I may say so, along the way, because they are in tailoring, I wanted to share so that maybe I could save the trouble to some people. And I think that kind of found its following. The name was full plagiarism from another user called Vox Artoria. So for the menswear aficionados that started with Style Forum, which is arguably one of the most well-known menswear forum, there was one user, Vox Artoria, that was really like an encyclopedia, definitely an erudite, knew a lot of things, was very secretive, also never showing his face, which is something I've tried to take over as much as possible, at some point at least. And that's how I basically plagiarized the name. And at the time I was living in Luxembourg, so that's how it came about. You know, going through the years, you try a lot of things and then you finally find what works for you. So now, really, the essence for me would be well-made and nice fabrics. If you look at the last 120 years, everything comes within a cycle, right? So I'm guessing this is a cycle, and there will be a renewal again. Maybe modified, but some kind of renewal for menswear. So I think there will be a role to play for suits in the future still. Now, do I think it's going to be exactly how it was at the peak, you know, like the golden years, the 50s, 60s, Mad Men and so on? I don't think so. But there's an evolution. It's an art. Not dressing well. The fact of making clothes, I'm not saying dressing well is an art, not at all. But the way the clothes are made, it's an art in itself. So it's craftsmanship, it's made by hand. Sometimes not entirely, but you know, there's a process behind it. For that, I have the greatest amount of respect. The same thing goes into wine. So you go there and you see the process and you understand it's something that they've learned over time and they perfected the process over time. And even with the greatest inventions, it still remains quite manual as a process. So depending on the wineries. And that process, I think, is very charming. And it's the same with food. You know, you look at the great chefs, they explain to you how they've invented their greatest dishes. It is repetition. They tried again, then they modified, they tried again, they failed, they try again, and eventually they come up with a brilliant dish, just like a piece of clothing or just like a wine. You mix your different grapes, and then you get a result, and the winemaker is the one that makes the magic. In the tailoring is the tailor, and in the kitchen is the chef. So now that you told me that you were going to a French restaurant tonight, I feel quite touched that you thought that French cuisine is actually something and worth exploring. So I'm actually quite excited, and I've had brilliant French food abroad. So I'm no doubt it's going to be great. And great company is the most important thing anyway, so